So, you want to be funny? Let's get one thing straight. Being funny isn't about rattling off dad jokes or trying to make someone snort coffee out of their nose. It's about connecting with people, building charm, and, let's be honest, sometimes deflecting from your weirdness. We all have it. Embrace it. Science says laughter is a primitive bonding mechanism. Back in the caveman days, laughing probably meant, hey, we're safe from that saber-toothed tiger for now. Let's jump around the fire. These days, it's more like, your joke about Zoom meetings was hilarious. It really brought the room together, except for Gary, who still hasn't figured out how to unmute. In essence, humor is the WD-40 of social interactions. It makes everything smoother. If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button and drop a sub in the comments. Do it, and I'll shout you out in the next video. Every great joke, quip, or meme has a secret recipe. Think of the key components as the Avengers of humor, except without the spandex, or, the billion-dollar explosions. First, let's talk about timing. Timing is everything in comedy. It's the difference between an awkward, and a full-blown laugh attack. Imagine you're delivering a punch. It's all in the delivery. If you tell a joke too soon, you'll get crickets. Too late? Awkward smiles all around. You have to hit that sweet spot where the punchline lands just right. For example, let's take a classic. Why did the chicken cross the road? If you pause too long after asking, the punchline falls flat. But if you barely pause, just enough to build a little suspense and then drop the punchline to get to the other side, boom, instant chuckles. Timing is everything. That's why jokes about Wi-Fi passwords or Netflix binges resonate with almost everyone. They're relatable and easy to get. On the other hand, jokes about quantum physics, well, let's just say they're an acquired taste. Let's just say they have a niche audience. Unless your crowd is full of physicists, then throw in a Schrodinger's cat reference and hope it lands both alive and dead. Relatable humor is like saying, hey, we're all in this weird life together. You know that panic when you drop your phone and it lands screen down? For a moment, you become a religious scholar praying to every god ever worshipped. Then you flip it over like it's a game show reveal. Now, let's sprinkle in some exaggeration. This is where you take reality and crank it up to 11. Hyperbole is your BFF in comedy. Instead of saying, I'm tired, you say, I'm so tired I could sleep through a fire alarm and a marching band doing a cover of Bohemian Rhapsody. See the difference? One's a fact, the other's a Netflix special waiting to happen. And then there's the rule of 3. The magical power of patterns. Humans are weirdly wired to find 3s satisfying. You set up a pattern, then break it for comedic effect. It's like saying, my morning routine? Coffee, emails, and existential dread. The first 2 are accepted, and then bam, existential dread sneaks in and steals the spotlight. You don't need to be a stand-up comedian to be funny. No one's asking you to grab a mic and start roasting your friends. Unless that is your thing, then by all means go for it. Humor is more about discovering what works for you, like trying on hats until you find one that fits just right. The good news? There are no awkward salespeople hovering nearby, and no one's judging your taste in hats or jokes. It's all about tapping into your personality and finding your unique way of making people smile. For instance, let's talk about the self-deprecator. These are the people who excel at laughing at themselves, and they do it in a way that's endearing, not pitiful. The key is to strike a balance between being relatable and over the top. There is a world of difference between saying, I'm a little awkward sometimes, and I'm a complete disaster who shouldn't be allowed in public. For example, instead of lamenting about how bad you are at cooking, you might say, I tried to make pasta last night, but it turns out I'm better at making kitchen fires than dinner. It's light, self-aware, and guaranteed to get a laugh without making anyone uncomfortable. Next up is the observational wizard. These people find hilarity in everyday absurdities. Like microwaves, why does the popcorn button exist if it never works? Popcorn's done. Just kidding. It's burnt. Observational humor takes the mundane and spins it into comedy gold. Then there is the storyteller. They turn life into a sitcom. Every embarrassing mishap becomes a hit episode. Accidentally sent a risky text and chucked your phone like it was cursed? Congratulations, you're officially binge-worthy content. Lastly, the quick wit specialist. Sharp comebacks are your thing, like responding to "you're late" with "I'm on my own time zone. Welcome to GMT me." Just remember, it should be playful, not mean. Humor is like pizza. There is a style for everyone. Find yours and serve it hot. Humor is subjective. Not everyone will laugh at your jokes, and that's totally fine. Comedy isn't a one-size-fits-all situation. The key is figuring out what works and refining it. Start small, test your jokes in friends or family. If they laugh, congrats, you've hit a nerve. If they groan, well, you might have wandered into dad joke territory, which is still valid, just niche. Next, rate the room. Context is everything. At a party? Perfect time to drop that witty one-liner. At a funeral, maybe stick to supportive nods and solemn silence. Pay attention to reactions. Smiles and chuckles mean you're on the right track. Blank stares? Time to rework your material. Remember, not every joke will land, and that's okay. Comedy is like science. Trial and error are part of the process. Adjust, adapt, and don't be afraid to try again. Once you've nailed the basics, it's time to level up. Let's dive into the next steps of mastering the art of being funny and becoming the comedic legend of your circle. Wordplay is where you show off your linguistic agility puns, double meanings, and clever twists that add a layer of sophistication to your humor. But fair warning, wordplay is a precision tool, not a sledgehammer. Overdo it, and you risk becoming the pun person, the one everyone avoids at brunch. For example, I told my wife she should embrace her mistakes. She gave me a hug. Or, I have a fear of elevators, but I'm taking steps to avoid it. When done right, wordplay is a crowd pleaser. Done poorly? Cue the eye rolls, but hey, even that can be funny if you are in on the joke. Callback jokes. The callback joke is a secret weapon in your comedy arsenal. It refers back to something mentioned earlier for maximum payoff, like a little comedic Easter egg. Example? Earlier you said, "I'm terrible at parallel parking." Later you quip, "At least I didn't have to parallel park this joke." Callback jokes create connection and reward attentive listeners, making you seem lightning fast with your wit, even if you planned it hours ahead. Shock value. Humor thrives in surprise, and shock value delivers that punch. Keep it absurd, not offensive. I've decided to stop procrastinating starting tomorrow. Use it sparingly, like hot sauce too much, and it overwhelms everything. The art of silence. A pause, perfectly placed, can be funnier than any punchline. Silence builds tension, making the payoff even sweeter. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Pause. Because he was outstanding in his field. Sometimes, it's not what you say, it's the space in between. For every hilarious individual, there's someone trying way too hard, and it shows. To avoid being unintentionally cringeworthy, steer clear of these common humor pitfalls. Trying too hard. Desperation is the kryptonite of humor. When you force it, it falls flat. Overloading conversations with jokes or interrupting others to land a punchline, big no. Humor works best when it feels natural, not like you're auditioning for a sitcom. Overcomplicating the joke, keep it simple. A good joke is like a tweet, short and sweet. If the setup takes longer than the punchline, you've already lost your audience. For example, instead of rambling about your cousin's roommate's dog, just say, "Dogs are furry therapists with no boundaries." Mean-spirited humor. Edgy humor is risky. Punching down, mocking someone's appearance, background, or struggles isn't funny. It's alienating. Focus on shared, universal experiences instead. Forgetting your audience. Humor isn't one size fits all. A joke that kills with friends might flop at work. Read the room and adjust accordingly. Your best friend might love reminiscing about a lost taco truck adventure, but your boss probably doesn't. And there you have it. You're now equipped with the tools to be funny, charming, and maybe even unforgettable. Go forth and crack jokes, create laughter, and remind the world that life doesn't have to be so serious. After all, As they say, laughter is the best medicine, except for actual medicine. Don't replace antibiotics with knock-knock jokes.